Oh, hi, Laura. Sleep well?
Very. Have you lost something?
No, I'm looking for part of the Starship Enterprise. Ron's still missing Captain Kirk's bathroom suite.
It's amazing what they put in cornflake packets these days.
Oh, here we are. Oh.
Well done. I wondered where those had got to. Did you know that Howard's being interviewed on the radio this morning?
That's great. Good for him.
Helen's coming round to listen with me. I must admit, I'm rather proud. He should come over well on the radio.
So what's he talking about?
Racial tolerance.
Yes. It's a pity we won't see him. I think he can look quite handsome when he's gritting his teeth. Who's interviewing him?
Well, it's for a local station. Barry Page?
Barry Page? Oh, no.
What's wrong?
You've never heard him? Laura, he reduces grown men to tears.
Howard will be all right then.
Anyone who disagrees with Barry Page on his phone-ins usually ends up getting cut off.
That's appalling. What an insult to his listeners. Which station is he on, dear?
218. Here, I'll find it. It's usually music until 9:30. That should be it.
Thanks.
Ron, postman.
Okay.
Oh, no, I've burnt the toast.
Oh. Toast for breakfast is so essentially British. I always remember when Howard came to stay with us once in the US a few years ago. You know how conservative he is about his food. You couldn't believe what they had. Burgers, pancakes, waffles.
So what did he eat?
Howard, waffles.
I know that, but what did he eat?
My husband loved to smother everything with maple syrup. I told him if he ate too much of it, he'd give himself a coronary.
Oh, you've got to be careful.
Yeah. He said it would be cheaper than a divorce. That was before he met his lady friend. After that, he took up jogging.
You don't seem to dig the American breakfast scene.
Oh, no. All I can face for breakfast is a cup of coffee and a hormone tablet.
Morning, folks. You know what they say? There's no smoke without holly. This is for you, Laura. And this is for you.
Oh, marvellous. It's arrived. Oh, Ron, could you open it for me?
Sure.
Come on, come on.
The Patterson CX45 professional metal detector, as used by the police, the Ministry of Defence, and the M15.
The MI5.
My Staffordshire Bull Terrier likes to gargle with margaritas.
And what does she have to say about it?
Now, where are my specs? Oh! You're right! Thanks, Oberon. Now, let's see. The Patterson Professional Metal Detector can locate objects and artifacts, even treasure buried up to 6 feet underground.
Treasure, that means money.
Good thinking, Batwoman.
I was reading in the paper last week about this man who unearthed thousands of coins on an old Roman site with one of these. He sold them to a museum and made a fortune.
Those Romans were great guys. I mean, when it comes to dropping things on the ground, it wasn't cigarette packets or Coke cans. I can just see it. Here, Maximus, what shall I do with all this loose change I've got in my pocket?
I tell you what, Flavius, why don't you chuck it on the ground like everyone else?
Crazy people.
Seems like you were born 2,000 years too late.
Too right.
I don't think it was quite like you imagine, Oberon.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, there's that fountain in Rome now where they all stand around and bung in their money.
Right, where's my snorkel? I'll have to hand it to you, Laura. I think you're on to a real winner.
We are. I thought, as I made the initial investment, if you did the digging, we could split the proceeds 50-50.
Sounds great. It's a deal.
Laura, it's 9:30.
Oh, I forgot. Oberon, turn the radio up.
Sure.
Councillor Kingsley.
Sit there, will you? Okay, this is the form. When this noise that passes for music mercifully terminates, I'll announce who's on today's show. Then I take the phone-ins from the usual bunch of whinging morons and make them wish that they'd never been born. You know, the man they love to hate giving. Then I ask you a few leading questions on, what is it? Be nice to the blacksmith. And you spout on till I tip you the wink to come up. Okay? Let's go.
Well, I had rather thought that
This is your host, Barry Page, on 39999, inviting you to phone in with your views on the news or whatever. Our guests for today are Councillor Howard Kingsley, and later on, Comrade Petrovic, comparing East-West educational systems. Our first caller is Caroline from Darnley Rise. Hello, Caroline.
Hello, good morning, Barry. Yes, I want to talk, please, about a sundial.
Oh, do you? Well, I'm all agog. What about it?
Well, it's been taken away from our village green by the council, and, well, we all think it's a terrible shame.
Oh, well, I no doubt it is, Caroline, but I hardly feel that calls for your village green to be declared a disaster area.
Yes, but they flogged it to America, like they did with our old drinking fountain, our park gates, our milestones, and...
Well, is that such a tragedy, Caroline? I mean, if the Yanks want to pay good money for a lot of boring old relics, more fool them.
They're not boring to us. I miss our old sundial. And
then I suggest that you move with the times, Caroline, and invest in a digital watch. Times, digital watch. Not bad, that, eh?
Yes, Barry, but you've got to remember...
Thank you, Caroline, from Darnley Rise. Don't forget, listeners, if you've got views on the news or whatever, phone 39999. Coming up shortly is Councillor Kingsley talking on racial problems, followed by Comrade Petrovic on education. Our next caller is Laura from Wexham Vale. Hello, Laura, the caller.
Mr. Page, just a quick interruption to your monologue.
Go on.
What I would like to know is, if omniscience is a quality of the gods, have you told them about tuning in to 218?
What's your point, Laura?
Well, the point is this, Mr. Page. How do you reconcile your self-appointment as the fount of all knowledge and wisdom with the sort of incivility and abruptness you display to Caroline and the rest of your listeners?
Listen, Laura, Caroline, or anyone else who insists on rambling on about trivia, I'd rather listen to the commercials.
You just can't win against someone like that. Go on.
Bingo! Captain Kurt's bathroom suite. Beat me up, Scotty.
Congratulations. Oberon, let me have a quick try before Howard comes on.
Sure, it's dead easy.
Good. Now, have you got anything metal on you?
Only this plate when I was struck in the Dardanelles.
Very nasty. Anything else? Oh, yes, that's a good idea. Let's try that. On your back, then.
That wasn't his filling, it was his brain.
It's brilliant. It picks up even the tiniest thing, as I said.
So when are we going to put it through its paces?
Well, according to the people who sold me this, there's apparently an old Roman campsite quite near here, so we'll give it a go after Howard's done his bit. I think you ought to pick those up, Oberon, don't you?
Morning. It's Helen.
Oh, good. I'll get it.
Laura, you know that old horse trough that used to be on the pavement outside?
Yes.
Well, some workmen are loading onto a lorry.
The horse trough? Oh. Quick, Oberon, let's go. Oh, sorry, Helen. I'll explain later. I shan't be a moment. God! What on earth do you think you're up to?
Well, missus, I've got a requisition order to obey.
What about this trough?
Destined for America. Council's selling off a few of its bits and pieces to raise a bit more cash. This one's just been requisitioned. Take her away, Smith.
No. Here, Oberon, get the van started.
Oh, was it Miss Howard?
Hey, Laura, all we've had it.
Helen, we've got to stop them. We can listen to Howard in the van. You go on in. Holly's got the radio on up there. Okay. I shan't be long.
It's all go, isn't it?
Can you see us out front anywhere?
No, we'd have caught them if you hadn't taken over the wheel.
Unless you get another endorsement.
Speaking of which, I can see trouble out back there. The old black and white's drawn out after us.
The what?
The law, on wheels.
Well, I'm not speeding.
No, but boy, were you weaving, and that's worse. Yep. Here they come.
Oh, well, never mind. We've lost the lorry anyway. Let's just regard this as a test run for our new sticker.
Tolerance and understanding are the key words. Tolerance of one another's mode of living, customs and racial idiosyncrasies. All of us striving toward a lasting cure for the canker of prejudice.
Well, it looks as if Comrade Petrovianovich seems to have been delayed, so we'll ask Councillor Kingsley to stand by for a further discourse on the problems of a multiracial society.
First Avenue, that makes folks feel common.
And that old Roman camp?
First Avenue, that's where the radio station is. Over there, look.
Oh, so it is. Oberon, have you ever been in a studio?
Here we go again. Why don't I stay stum?
That old Mac of mine.
You are expecting Comrade Petrova Yanovitz, yes?
Oh, yes, madam. I'm so glad you could make it. Were you held up in a traffic jam?
Yes, there was a protest march.
Oh, what were they protesting about this time?
Traffic jams.
Oh, I see. Would you come this way, please?
Thank you. Vladimir, you will please wait here. Perestroika Martina Navratilova. Vladiva Smirnov. Polski Fiat. Da.
Da. Da, 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 da. Seven, 73399. Comrade Petrovianovich? No, she isn't here. Oh, you are Comrade Petrovianovich. Yeah, I know what you mean. It's called a wheel clamp. No, don't worry. We'll wait. All you have to do is sit there, and soon a nice man will come along and take it off. Bye-bye. Good old Laura, now she's got me starting World War III.
We must look inwardly at ourselves and inevitably come to the conclusion that anyone who doesn't wholeheartedly support the cause of racial integration and ethnic minority tolerance can only be termed as a mother.
Well, thank you, Councillor Kingsley.
What I meant was that I would...
That was Councillor Howard Kingsley. And now for this morning's star guest, Comrade...
Laura Kingsley.
Laura Kingsley?
Yes, one of the many callers on your phone-in program whom you so rudely cut off when you feel your eminence as an infallible pundit on all subjects seems to be in peril.
Mother.
What the hell's going on? Laura Kingsley? Where's that Russian tart? Comrade, whatever her name is. Laura Kingsley, jeez, it is. What a turn up for the books. Keep it going.
Laura Kingsley? Are you two by any chance?
No.
My briefly dismissed phone call was originally to object to your ill-mannered dismissal of the previous caller. Now, however, I discover that her cause is my cause. Namely, current official policy of selling off irreplaceable items belonging to our national heritage. Phone boxes, milestones, and statues and the like. In my particular case, it concerns the removal from outside my house of a horse trough.
A what?
A horse trough, Victorian, probably now on its way to a dude ranch in Texas.
Well, perhaps that's the best place for it, Mrs. Kingsley. After all, I doubt if your street ever sees a horse.
Oh, don't be infantile. I doubt if Egypt ever sees a pharaoh, but they aren't exporting the pyramids. Let me have a good look at you, Mr. Page. I always find it fascinating to match a face with a voice.
I'm sure you do.
Yes. Now I see why they haven't snapped you up for television. Ever thought of the Cambridge diet?
Laura Kingsley. The Laura Kingsley. I should
A
have...
lovely head of hair. Such an attractive colour. And you put it on so straight.
So our surprise substitute guest this morning, listeners, is none other than the local lady who's always in the headlines, Mrs. Laura Kingsley. Mrs. Kingsley has recently returned from the USA.
Quite remarkable. Although how on earth it managed to get dandruff is beyond me.
Since her return, she's been involved in an art robbery, become a squatter, was arrested for vandalism, accused of assault, questioned about...
But nature is so perverse. The voice is so authoritative, arrogantly macho. But, well, listeners, you wouldn't dream that in reality... I'm sorry, Mr. Page, but it is a little confusing trying to talk to the listeners over the sound of your corset creaking.
Mrs. Kingsley.
Mr. Page.
Having reviewed your track record, one could be charitable and class you as incident prone. But it would also be possible to think of you as a publicity-seeking exhibitionist.
Oh, would it? How hurtful.
But perhaps there's an underlying motive to all this. Tell me, have you ever considered becoming an actress?
No, never. Have you?
Just tell the listeners what exactly it is that you are lusting after.
A horse trough. It's in granite, bearing the inscription, "In loving memory of Lady May, 1873.
So there you have it, listeners. Mrs. Kingsley is looking for a horse trough inscribed in loving memory of Lady May, 1873.
Yes, that was the year she died.
Well, I hardly thought that it was her bust measurement.
Oh, it might have been, Mr. Page. You see, Lady May was a horse. Mr. Page! Mr. Page, you've forgotten your hair. Thank you for listening, listeners. And don't forget, if you see those official vandals about to cart away bits of old Britain, you give them hell.
Barry Page is all the radio.
Howard, what on earth's the matter? I thought you acquitted yourself quite magnificently with that Page chap. Oh, Howard. Howard?
You tell him, Laura.
That was great. There must have been thousands of people who wanted to do that.
Yeah, I thought Howard was dead good too. He sounded as if he really meant all that stuff about ethnic minorities.
You're right. Mind you, I think the relative safety of a radio studio helped. Up until now, Howard's only direct contact with ethnic minorities was when the cooker broke and we had to go to a wimpy bar.
Hardly ethnic.
What you've got to remember, Holly, is that where Howard's concerned, talking about minorities is one thing. Eating with them is quite a different proposition. I went with him once to this Oriental restaurant where we all had to take our shoes off. He spent the whole meal terrified he was going to catch somebody's verruca. Oh, and then there was his attempt to eat noodles with a pair of chopsticks. They've ended up knitting a very nice matinee jacket if the waiter hadn't helped him out. He kept muttering that British cutlery was too sophisticated for them.
Ron quite likes the odd curry.
Oh, so do I. The last time I suggested an Indian meal, Howard refused on the grounds he hadn't had the right vaccinations. Well, you must know Howard by now. All he thinks about is hygiene. That's why when it comes to foreign food, he'll only go to French restaurants. He says any nation which invented the bidet can't be all bad. When he's at home, he even washes the soap. Actually, Holly, tonight's rather special. I've got him to agree to an intimate evening together. It's 11 years to the day since we got engaged.
Oh, how romantic. It must be lovely being married.
Well,
As Ron says, sex, love, more sex, marriage. It's only natural. How about children, though?
well, I reckon if I play my cards right, tonight might be the night.
I'd like to have 4 children, and I want one to be there holding my hand while I'm having them. How about your kids, Ellen? Do you think Howard will be there at the birth?
Holly, it'll be enough if he's there at the conception.
Are you feeling a little better now?
Yes, thanks. I think it's the old recurring Lassa fever. Yes, you see, catching contagious tropical diseases is just an occupational hazard when you've got all that shaking hands to do at ethnic meetings.
I see.
Anyway, I think I'm all right to drive to work now. Thanks for your understanding.
Do you mind if I don't?
Well, that treasure hunt turned out to be a big hunt of nothing.
Patience, my boy, patience. The Turks searched for over 2,000 years before they unearthed the gold coins of Croesus.
Can't wait that long. I think I'll go back to busking.
Really, Oberon? What's happened to all that positive thinking of yours? Dwell on what we might detect tomorrow, not on that old bedstead we unearthed today.
Yeah, maybe you're right. But I'll tell you one thing about that Oakfield Common. Anyone in the rubber recycling business could collect a fortune.
Yeah. Do you have any luck with that trough, missus?
No, I'm afraid not, nor with the treasure hunt. Still, no cause is ever lost. Here, Oberon, give me that thing. Let's have a little probe around the garden. I think we've had a visitor.
At what?
A visitor. And what we really need now is not a metal detector, it's a pooper scooper. I'll maneuver around the periphery. We might have something here.
Ooh. Jeez, Laura, I thought that thing only got steamed up when it detected metal.
So did I. Perhaps the poor dog's on a course of iron pills. Ooh.
Looks like you hit a jackpot this time, missus. Whatever it is, son. Sounds a bit deep down to me. What do you say, Harry?
Yeah, sounds a bit deep down to me, Bert.
You might need a couple of hands on the job, missus.
Thank you very much.
Usual union rates, of course.
What's that?
50-50.
It's a deal.
Right then, let's get cracking. So, what do you think it is?
Well, whatever it is, it ain't a treasure chest. What you've got yourself lumbered with is an old boiler. I mean, think down
Get
there.
out of the way and let me have a look. Yes, I think you may be right. Oh, there's a name on it here. But it's somewhat rusted over. Oh, there we are, that's better. It was made by somebody called Krupp. Essen.
Crap! That ain't a boiler. That's a bleeding bomb.
Nice bomb.
This is an evacuation announcement. Will anybody living in the cordoned off area please evacuate all buildings and grounds immediately?
I'm afraid that applies to you as well.
But we've been told if we wait here, we'll be picked up for evacuation.
Oh, and who told you that?
Our next-door neighbour, Mrs. Kingsley.
And what time are you expecting her?
Any minute now, I think.
Bomb or no bomb, I don't see why you have to trample all over my antirrhinum. Well, it seems to have stopped raining. Oh, Helen, it's very sweet of you to welcome the evacuees like this. Mr. Singh seems quite happy in the garden.
Oh, good. Holly and Oberon are just helping his wife with the poppadoms. I hope Howard's going to be able to take this.
Oh, don't worry, Helen. I'm sure he'll be extremely flattered. And he did seem very keen to share in ethnic traditions in his radio interview.
You know, Laura, Howard and I were going to have a romantic evening together.
Ah, well, I mentioned that, and apparently Mrs. Singh has got a solution.
Helen?
There's Howard. I better warn him.
Courage.
Howard, you're home. Oh, Mr. Singh, I'd like you to meet my husband.
Oh, Mr. Kingsley. What a great honor and a privilege to meet the man who has done so much for racial understanding in our area. Let me go and clean my hands, and I'll bring my wife in from the kitchen.
Ah, Howard, it looks as if your street credibility is at an all-time high. Oh, Howard, do come back.
I'm going to wash the soap.
My dear, Mr. and Mrs. Singh think the world of you, and I'm sure if you ask them, they'll have an English menu.
Do you think so?
Oh, Mr. Kingsley, welcome home.
My wife has prepared a special aphrodisiac for you tonight.
Sorry, but she's not my type.
You and Helen, Howard. And
And it works. Dinner is ready. Right, come sit down, everyone. I've put
Right.
names by your
Wait a minute.
places.
Put that there.
Yes, that's lovely.
A bit hard.
Thank you, Oberon. Come along, Daddy. Oh, he looks lovely, doesn't he? I'm absolutely nothing, Here we are. The curry's arrived. Let us enjoy this evening as one happy family.
Yes, indeed.
Well, that's that then, missus. One all stuff return, good as new. We've even filled it for you. Blimey, you sure started something with that broadcast.
Oh, thank you. You're very kind. Especially staying as late as this to get it all finished.
Oh, no, thank you. And all the rest of the lads in the yard say the same.
Really?
Yeah, they're all hard at it too. Getting them other things from the auction back where they belong.
Well, that's simply wonderful. And it just goes to show that everyone will make sacrifices for the right reason.
You said it, missus. We get double time after 4:30.
You're not going to believe this, but we got a customer.
What?
For the trough.
Oh, that's wonderful. Quick, Bert, give me the sugar lumps.
All right.
Enjoying your spring bath?
It's lovely.
Is there anything else I can get you?
I'd love a cup of tea, madam.
One lump or two?